basically allows us to do is to be able to play around with voice, video, and being able to have a standalone chat SDK, right? So when you hover over some of the products that they rendered, you can actually see all of the options right here. You can see the voice, the video, the streaming, the in-app chat, and so on, right? So these are everything that you can do with it for the most part. And they actually have a very huge community that you can check out. They have their own learning tube as well as different tutorials. And what we're doing today is very specific to React because we want to obviously demo how the system works in general, like for the different functions that it offer and how we can able to stream in a very elegant way. And also we're actually leveraging the ZEGOCLOUD streaming SDK for this. And for that, what you have to do to obviously start up is to click on the sign up button. When you do that, it's going to take you right in here. And I'm just going to sign up quickly while we do that. So put my name right there and my surname, country. All right, and verification code, that's fine. I'll just use a random password. It's fine. So you come in here, and meanwhile, the password you use, make sure you remember it, by the way, because that's what you use to verify your account. And just don't use this password. I'll delete it after this video. And we have the verification code. So I'm going to use my email, and I'm just going to go here. I'm just going to grab my email from there and go back here and paste it right in there. So you get a code, click on the get code for you to get a 6-digit OTP. Please drag the object to correct position on the line. Okay. It's locked. That should be around here, right? Okay, so let's click on verify. Okay, so that should work. And you just refresh this, should be able to get in a couple of seconds. Okay, there we go. All right, so we have the code. I grab it straight away and I paste it right in here, and I just start my free trial. All right, so this is going to start up, and once I have my account created, it's going to get redirected into the console. Right, so on the console, the first thing we have to do is to create our project, and you have to specify like your company names and stuff, right? So here I will just say company ABC. This is for demo purposes. And company site, I just type in influencer. And by the way, you have to input your right company name and company website and the title. And I'll just say student for now, industry, business, and font. Let's use my own country code 234, and you can just use a random number, doesn't matter. And okay, so with this now I will have my account credited with 10,000 minutes. So this is actually very relevant when you are streaming live, because these things are actually recorded in minutes. So that means the currency that ZEGOCLOUD uses is obviously these minutes you have here, right? So when you sign up this way, you're going to be given this 10,000 credits, and I'm already given, and I'm just going to go to the dashboard. Okay, there we go. So now you can see we have a 3-minute trial for in-app chat and so on, right? So we don't have any balance whatsoever. So the very next thing that we're about to do right now is to set up our first project. And the way we go about that is by clicking on this button right here. And we're going to have a few things, right? So you can see voice and video call, video conference, live streaming, live audio room, in-app chat, and so on, right? I can just play around with them. But what we're focused on is the live streaming. So you click on this to select this as your main project. And the next thing you have to scroll down a bit for you to see this button. So you click on it and it takes you here. So you have to give a name to your app, and this one we can just call it live streaming test. and you can actually read along of what we have and so on. So we have this section, we have the UI kits, we have the SDKs. To this lesson, we're focused on the SDK. So how does the SDK, what do you think is different between the SDKs and the UI kits, right? So what SDKs are things built into different platforms or languages as the case may be. You can see you have Android, iOS, and so on. You can just download or install an SDK and use it. But UI Kit, on the other end, it gives you the flexibility to use some UI, predefined UI components from ZEGOCLOUD to be able to render the ZEGOCLOUD within your application. So this is what we'll be focused on, and I'm just going to search for React. We should have React somewhere around here. If we don't, we just use the web. So, all right, so let's go, and we can move it around. Let's do for the web, right? So this is for the web, and yeah, so let's start with UI Kit. Just click on this button, start with UI Kit. So this should obviously take us to a new page where we're going to have some of the kit configurations and stuff. And I'll just pause it and resume it when it's all done. It's going to take a few seconds. All right, so now it's done and we're taken to this whole new console, and which is fantastic. And you can see the different platforms which you can play around with. But now we're focused on for web, right? So for web, we click on this, and once you select that, it's going to open it up, right? So yeah, you can just see that it has some configurations, right? So you can decide to change the layout that you want and so on, right? So you can see on the right hand panel we can have camera. You can just say, okay, you want to remove that. Meanwhile, when you're making these changes, it's actually reflecting on the on the actual user interface, right? So if I disable audio setting, you can see the audio setting is gone. You can disable camera, you can see the camera icon is gone, and so on, right? So screen sharing, and in this case we're going to use the entire thing, so that's fine, including the test chart and user list. All right, so the next thing we do, since we are comfortable with this configuration, we just click on start and integrate. All right, so I'm going to click on that and it's going to initialize. Okay, so why this is actually happening, I was going to ask you use your microphone. I'm just going to say allow this time. Okay, use your camera, allow this time, so that's fine. And you can see this is actually kind of interface that will be granted, and they will have access to it. So this is actually a pre-built configuration that we are having, right? So in the very next section, I'm just going to show you how you can integrate it. We already have our credentials and stuff, and the next thing is for us to be able to integrate. So for you to see your credentials, you can just click on get config file. Okay, so we're just going to continue from where we left off, and you can see the live streaming test. Here we can click on that, and what it obviously does is going to open up this interface for us where we see some of our credentials and stuff like that. We are much more interested in config my app, so I click on that, and then I basically see underneath it you have the edit config and download config. Right, so this is something that I feel it's very important for the most part. So we'll click on download config, and this is going to download take us to a different page obviously, and then we have the download HTML file. So when we click on that download HTML file, we're going to have a markup of the live streaming application itself, right? So it's very straightforward. I'm going to open it up with my cursor editor, and I show you the basic contents that that it contains, right? So it's just a bunch of ZEGOCLOUD configurations, and then we have a few other setups that we have to do. So I'll enlarge it quickly. And as you can see, we have our scripts at the top level. We have the body taking the ID of root. Don't forget about that, very important. And now we have the app ID, the server secret, and stuff like that. And then we basically have to set up our configurations. So now the thing with configurations is that this is where most things about the app is specified. For example, you want to turn on camera when joining, you want to show my camera toggle button, you want to show every other thing, right? right? So this is exactly where you set it. And also when you want to generate your token, you can go around use the generate key token for test method that's available within ZEGOCLOUD. And this is the IP ID, the app ID, as well as server secret that it takes, as well as the room ID. Room ID is just like a randomly generated thing that we get from the params, and the user ID is obviously just anything that was specified, right? So in the real world application, this is going to be your actual user ID from your auth system and stuff like that, which is understandable. And yeah, so I'll just show you what each of these configs what they do, and you can actually take a look at the docs. They basically explain it more on there, and you can be able to structure out the ones that you don't need and just pick out the ones that you feel is extremely important. And the next is to create our instance, right? So Zero Cloud UI Kit instance. So you can use the dot create method to create an instance. And the next thing is to try to join, right? So now we basically we have the container, we have the scenarios and stuff. So these are just like Zero Cloud related stuffs that we shouldn't even worry about. And so when you have all of this, for the most part, you just have to specify, like the mode. We're concerned about live streaming. There are other modes like in-app call and stuff like that, but now we are mostly focused on live streaming. So with that, we can be able to open it up and go from there. Okay, so then we open it with Chrome, and here we basically have to grant some permission, just allow this time, you should be fine. And then here we can be able to join a room, right? So the room we can give it a name. It's more like a channel when you considering the socket side of things. And then we can just, we can be able to just call this user one, right? And then just join, right? So we'll copy the link, we'll join it quickly. And one other thing that we're going to do is to go over to the next tab, and we're going to paste in that link. And in here, we're going to just go through and then maybe type in a different username or user two, and then we join. So we're going to get the live stream has not started, which is fine because actually we can still see the go live button in the previous tab, right? So here the live stream has not started. We know why that is because we've not actually started the live stream. So now click on the go live button, and when you do, and you're going to obviously okay, so when you click on the go live button, you're greeted with the stream, right? So the stream starts automatically, and then when I go over to the next tab, I can still see the stream live. So that means I'm live, and now I'm streaming.